a second round of questions for those of you who have additional questions. I think it was, Admiral Hill, you used the term fire control data with regard to hypersonics. I wrote in my notes, fire what? What are we firing? That, as you know, we've talked about this. I am gravely concerned about the strategic change in the whole scene of battle that hypersonics represent. And I know we're working on it and we're talking about it. I want a sense of urgency. Tell me, if you're, Admiral, you're the commander of a aircraft carrier 800 miles from China, and they send a hypersonic missile your way, you've got about 9 minutes to figure out what to do. I want to know how close we are to having a defense. And I guess the second question is North Korea developing hypersonic capability? Because if they are, that's where we need to be focusing, not on hitting a bullet with a bullet over the North Pole.
Yes, sir. Senator, thanks for that question. We often talk about hypersonics and assume we're at zero. We are not at zero. I mentioned earlier that we have a command and control battle management capability that takes the space sensors that we have today, the land-based sensors and the sea-based sensors. And what's really key about sea-based is that is where the defensive capability resides today. So when a carrier strike group goes forward, to use your example, they have some number of destroyers with them. And on those destroyers today, the sea-based terminal capability is on those ships. We did that based on a request from the CNO because he was concerned about the carrier killer missile. You've heard plenty about that in the white press. Looks ballistic, so we have an ability with SM-3 in the upper tier to take out that threat. And then we have in the lower tier sea-based terminal, which is really a capability that we insert into the SM-6 missile that the Navy produces. So the Navy is producing those in number. MDA is providing the software package and the work in the combat system to control that missile. So we have the capability to take on the advanced maneuvering threat in terminal. I will say terminal is not sufficient. As I mentioned earlier, it is the most difficult place to engage. High maneuver, high speed, and again, you don't know where terminal is. Generally, in the sea base, it's going to be after the carrier, so the destroyers will operate in close quarters and ensure that they provide that protection. Now, because it's not good enough, the investments we're making in PB-23 is towards the glide phase interceptor. So when you think of having a layered defense against the glide vehicle that then dips down and comes in and does the maneuver, we have the ability to stop that at the glide phase, the most vulnerable place where
we want the ability. Do we have the ability? You said we have the ability.
We have 3 contractors in play right now to deliver that capability. We're moving towards a demo over the next few years. So we'll down select this year to 2, and we'll continue to move through, and then we'll deliver that demo, conduct an exercise with that.
Is North Korea developing hypersonics?
They claim to have developed hypersonics. If you go look at the outer mold line, you might be fooled and think that it is, but in terms of what we've seen in terms of data, I'm not entirely confident that they have that capability today. But the fact that they're testing it ought to be of concern.
Director Honey, you mentioned directed energy in your testimony, I believe. That strikes me as a promising, and I know there are technical problems, but give me an update on where we are in developing directed energy, microwave or laser.
Both classes of directed energy systems, lasers and high power microwaves, have seen significant developments and achievements over the past several years. And what I'm most impressed with is the fact that we now have high energy laser systems and 130 kilowatt class systems that are being deployed on ships for operational testing. And we have a modular package that will be able to be deployed on Army ground vehicles as well as ships. These will be going into, as I said, operational testing around the world in this coming year. And out of that, we will be able to gain tremendous insights on lethality data to see how those systems will be useful in the future. These are mainly aimed at dazzling as well as cruise missile defense. And we also have significant developments in higher power systems and lasers that we think will be very important in the upcoming few years.
Do you have sufficient resources to accelerate this process?
Yes,
budgetary.
We have sufficient resources, and also the folks leading the efforts have much better insights today than they did in the past. And just through understanding where to smartly take risks, they've been able to accelerate developments significantly.
Admiral, if you were the commander of that aircraft carrier, I'd want this guy to be supplying you with some weapons.
Yes, sir. I would want everything that's available, and we'll take the power you have now and put it on the ships if we could.
Thank you. Senator Fisher.